we are going to go ahead and answer some of your tip of the week questions. So if you haven't noticed already, on the right hand side of the tip, there's a little spot that tells you to ask us a question. Whether it's something about your chiropractic health, whether it's something we talked about in the office, or any other question you have, go ahead and reply to that email, and you'll start to see that about weekly we'll go ahead and answer those questions for you. So one of our most recent questions was about our eating habits. So the question came from Miss Chelsea, and she asked what we like to eat for breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, Dr. Chris and I primarily eat a paleo diet. About 80 to 90% of what we're eating is paleo. The other 10% is if we have anything else gluten-free or if we do any raw dairy. As far as breakfast goes, we are creatures of habits in the sense of we have eggs almost every single day for breakfast. Now, most weekdays we're having eggs, and sometimes we'll chop in some proteins. Sometimes I'll chop in some vegetables. Sometimes we'll do a side of sweet potatoes, especially on days where we have bigger workouts and we're doing a lot of strength training. We like to have those complex carbs added in with that. Also, we do some shakes, and we can talk to you about those if that's something that you're interested in, along with our breakfast, especially on those heavy workout days. Things that we sometimes add in over the weekend is we'll make some paleo pancakes, and a lot of times I use almond flour to do that. We'll have bacon, we'll have any type of side, a little protein side like that. And I personally do more of this, but both of us eat a lot of fermented veggies. Now, I love my fermented veggies on my eggs. It doesn't matter what it is. And I like the crunch when it comes to food. So a lot of times I'll chop up like a little salad, whether it be cucumber or something else with it, to have with my eggs. Really simple tips for kind of making this faster is you can have scrambled eggs, you can do hard-boiled eggs the night before, you can make little egg muffins and make some for the week, and that way you can just grab one, pop it in the toaster oven, and be ready to go. There's also some great just muffin recipes. Again, you want to add some kind of protein to that, but the muffin is made primarily with either almond flour or coconut flour, sweetened a lot of times with maple syrup. So we can go ahead and share some of those recipes with you. Lunch and dinner are almost always the same for us.
Before we get to that lunch and dinner,
yes.
The eggs, where we get the eggs from is very important as well. We usually get them from Grassroots Natural Market in South Pass, but a lot of the local farmers markets have free range, what do you call them, grass? They're not,
no.
They're chickens are not vegetarian, so let's just make that point. A lot of boxes will say vegetarian feed. Well, chickens, when they're out on the pasture, they eat worms and grubs and other things, so they're not truly vegetarian. So the eggs that we get, we make sure that those chickens are out getting their full diet, so that when they pop out their eggs, they're giving us the most nutrients that we possibly can get.
And also, don't be afraid of yolk. That kind of fat will not, that kind of saturated fat or anything like that will not raise cholesterol. Yolk got a bad name a long time ago. So that kind of cholesterol is not going to affect your cholesterol numbers that you get on your blood work. And the most nutrient dense part of that egg comes with that yolk. Now, if you don't like it for flavor, at least try to sneak one in there and just bombard the rest of your omelet with egg whites, if that's what you're going to do.
Yeah, they did studies where a guy ate 30 eggs a day, I believe, for like 30 or 60 days just to try to intentionally raise his cholesterol, and he couldn't do it. And many people have replicated that. Dietary cholesterol and free-flowing cholesterol in your blood, two different things. So don't worry about that egg yolk whatsoever.
And you don't have to eat 30, okay? Maybe like 2 or 3. As far as lunch and dinner go, again, we have the same thing in the sense of we always have some type of protein, and we alternate our protein all the time. So we'll do grass-fed ground beef, we'll do grass-fed ribeye, we'll do whatever grass-fed red meat that there is. We do a lot of turkey, we do a lot of chicken, we do seafood. A lot of times we'll do salmon, sometimes we'll do some cod, sometimes some shrimp. Always make sure your seafood, of course, is wild caught. And then sometimes we grill some veggies. Almost every single meal we have a giant salad, and we again alternate our greens. Sometimes I'll do lettuce, sometimes we'll do kale, sometimes we'll do a hodgepodge of arugula, of spinach, whatever it might be, and we basically toss in whatever veggies are lying around. I love to toss in cucumber, tomatoes, carrots, bell peppers, and again on top of that a ton of sauerkraut. If I have any other like cultured beets or anything else like that fermented, it's going to be great for digestion, it's going to be great for our immune systems. great source of probiotics, in that diet, and it's just going to help. And they taste really, really good. So they're very, very good for you. And then again, on the side, we might have, like last night, we sauteed some broccoli and some red onion. And I used something called coconut aminos. For those of you who love soy sauce and who love your stir fry and things like that, this is the most phenomenal substitution for that. Coconut aminos you can buy at Whole Foods, you can buy at Grassroots, and it's basically fermented coconut sap, but it tastes and looks exactly like soy sauce. It's got that little bit of that salty kick to it, so great to toss on stir fry. When we make cauliflower rice, we can send you that recipe too. A lot of times we toss it in that because it's like having your fried rice next to whatever else you're eating. Dinner is the same thing. We'll pick a really good quality protein. Sometimes we completely sub out the protein. A lot of nights we'll have some soup with some kind of big salad or some kind of veggies on the side. It just basically depends what mood we're in. But that's, when it comes to paleo, we keep it very simple. It's not boring. Simple does not mean it has to be boring, because that's when you can toss in a bunch of your spices and different veggies and just basically jazz up your meal. But keep your meals simple. Have a good quality protein, have a ton of veggies, have fermented foods with that. We cook primarily with ghee or grass-fed butter, but mostly with ghee. And then just have that good quality fat there, and you will have a great nutrient-dense meal that's going to keep you fuller longer, as opposed to eating something very high in carbs and sugar, which is then going to yo-yo your blood sugar and just kind of spike and drop, and then you're starving like an hour later.
And that soy sauce, the reason why we want to avoid it, most soy sauce has gluten. Gluten, of course, would totally violate following a paleo diet, or paleo eating. We don't really like the word diet. First three letters are die, so we really don't like it. So we like paleo eating or eating lifestyle or something along those lines.
And remember, soy is one of the most genetically modified foods in our country, so you just want to avoid it as much as you can.
For sure. So thanks, Chelsea, for submitting that question. And Chelsea Dean actually has an art show coming up. I think it's like a couple weeks long. It starts Friday the 24th, I believe. You can find info at chelseadeanart.com.
And we also have her flyer here. So you can
we have a flyer as well, so you can check out her art and all the wonderful things that she does. Next question. Ready?
Ready.
So it came from Socorro, and she asked something to the extent of, why do you feel sore when you almost slip? So you're walking along, you trip on the carpet or whatever it is. Why do you feel sore? And she asked specifically, typically the day afterward, you have that soreness. So in short, it's because lactic acid. Anytime we're sore is because lactic acid buildup. But we'll give you a little more of a description. So if I push right now, Dr. Adana, I won't. She lifts, so she's strong. I don't want to mess with her. If I push her, but she doesn't quite fall, she kind of just stumbles. Well, she's using all the muscles in her body to keep herself upright, because she doesn't want to hit the floor. You hit the floor, then we're talking even more pain. So your whole body goes through a contraction, a muscle contraction. So imagine you're at the gym and you haven't, especially you're going to feel more sore if you're not fit. If you're not fit, then it's going to really amplify that soreness. So it's important, as you know, one of the things that we talk about a lot is having a great level of physical fitness. Because as your body moves, you're healthier. The foods you put in it are absorbed properly. You get a better night's sleep. There's look up the benefits of fitness, and you're going to find a ton of things. So that is the basic answer as to why you feel sore after an almost fall or a slip or a stumble or something like that.
And if you remember us talking about our 3 stresses, that is a physical stress. Whether you actually fell on the floor or slipped or did whatever else, it's a big physical stress. The other day I bumped my head getting into the car, and right away I felt my neck and my traps completely tense up. It was a very light bump, but it just basically went to different parts of my body. So just because we don't have a big major trauma or fall like that, it's still a physical stress. And remember, we always talk about our 3 stresses: physical stresses, chemical stresses, mental emotional stresses. So we're always going to be asking you and finding out what these stresses are in your life, and of course helping to make sure that your nervous system is adapting through those, through your adjustments, through your chiropractic care, of course, and through whatever lifestyle choices you are making.
So thanks for the question, guys. We look forward to more questions. Like Dr. Donna said, on each tip of the week, you can just, when you get it in your email, you can simply hit the reply button, send us a question, and we're going to be answering them in video format. Best questions may or may not get a prize. We'll see. If you're the lucky recipient of a prize, we'll let everybody know. So we'll see you guys next time.
Bye.